participating in the chat, and so beautiful to meet all of you beautiful souls. I run an events mixology company based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I ship to all 50 states and beyond amazing cocktail mocktail kits to do remote events, as well as very intentional and very inclusive types of recipes for everybody to participate and explore creativity together. Yay! It's called Restream Cocktails now, but it's going to be rebranded in August as Swizzled Company. Yay!
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm also coming at you live from Rachel's studio. So she's been so lovely to donate.
I'm in my kitchen.
Coming from her kitchen. I'm coming from her studio. So I'm so grateful for her. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm going to go to Molly next.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. This is the coolest experience, and I've been loving hearing all of the speakers. And my name is Molly Williams. I am the host of a meditation podcast called Molly's Mornings, and it is top 2% globally, which is still wild to me. Also, I founded the app, the manifestation meditation app called Wild Minds. My work is largely in the manifestation space. I love all things mystical and magical, so I'm very excited to be here. And my talk is on receiving, so that is something I'm also obviously passionate about.
Thank you so much for sharing. I'm like in another like dimension right now having you on here. I have been listening to Molly's podcast for 3 years. And so to see her and have these conversations in person, like this is one of working with Molly in that capacity, which we didn't even know each other until a couple months ago, has literally changed the trajectory of my life. And so I'm so, so grateful that you're here. Like it is the grounding that gets me in place. It allows me to be a better bonus mom, a better partner, a better human, a better business owner. So I'm really, really grateful that you're here, Molly.
I'm so grateful. And now I'm sobbing. Thank you so much for having me. I'm like, oh.
We'll let the emotions come today. We're okay with that. Thank you so much. All right. And then I'm going to move on to Jennifer. If you could please introduce yourself, although we've already met you today.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jennifer. I am a virtual assistant and virtual assistant coach. I am based in Eastern North Carolina, but I founded my business on the principle of messy action, and I believe it is genuinely what gets me through every day, let alone the last 2 years of owning my business. And I believe it's something that everybody can implement into their life, no matter if it's personal, business related, anything. And I am just beyond thrilled to be here. So thank you so much for including me, and I'm excited for this conversation.
I'm so thrilled you're here. The talk you gave this morning was absolutely brilliant. It was a great way to kick us off. Thrilled that you're here, Jennifer. Jennifer's company made it possible for me to really step into business ownership in a very successful way. I worked with one of the VAs at her company, so I'm forever ever grateful for her and her messy action.
We're grateful for you too.
All right. Okay. And then we're going to go on to Casey Johnson, who is not speaking at this particular event, but she will be speaking at the in-person event. And she is going to introduce herself. She's one of my favorite people. Go take it away, Casey.
Hello. You are one of my favorite people too. I am Casey Johnson. I am the founder of Ladies Lifestyle Network. So that was founded here in Charlotte in 2019. It's a women's empowerment, personal development, and professional networking business. So we have in-person events each month and then a really vast online community where we're always featuring women in business and then at the events getting women together. I have expanded into 10 other cities across the country. I have launched a Latinas Lifestyle Network chapter where they are doing my business model, but everything is done in Spanish to cater to the Latina women of our community here in Charlotte. We'll be expanding that soon too. I am the host of my podcast, Chick Chat Collective. Mainly, I'm just all about women and helping women use their voice and tell their stories and share the wonderful things, the hard things, the struggles, all the advice. I feel like it truly is amazing when we can get together and just be open and honest and genuine and not feel judged at all. And so that's always the space that I'm trying to create, whether it's in person or online. And that's it.
So good. Casey is the ultimate community connector. We met just a couple months ago and became super fast friends. So I'm grateful for her to be here today. For all your questions on community, if you have any questions around community and building community, Casey is your girl. All right, let's go to our second speaker of the day, Miss Lindsay, my financial powerhouse, my angel. Jump on in.
Sorry, I didn't unmute myself. Classic. Okay. Hello, everyone. So yes, I'm a financial therapist. Allie and I work together, so I'm super fortunate to have had experienced, one-on-one time with her in that capacity. I offer one-to-one services, so whether that's individual services or with couples, I specialize in kind of entrepreneurship and variable income, and so it's a really hard area to navigate when you don't have like a standard W-2 and what to do with all of that. And so yeah, and then I am launching, as you maybe heard my talk today, financial self-care. That was like a very condensed version of kind of my longer master class that I host usually about once a month or every 6 weeks or so. And I'm launching a podcast titled Financial Self-Care on September 3rd. So there you go.
So exciting. My favorite Midwestern person, Midwesterner?
Yes, Midwesterner. You got it.
Don't tell my other Midwestern friends, but you're my favorite. Thank you so much, Lindsay. All right, and then on to Stetson, our social media guru. I'm so excited to share her expertise with you later this afternoon.
Yes, thank you so much, Allie, for having me. And I already want to connect with everybody that I just heard. But my name is Stetson, aka Socially Stetson is my business. And we pretty much have two formats. We either teach people how to do social media, like the social media strategies for conversions, or we do have the social media management side where we're managing it for people. And I really feel like it's good to know how and the why of social media for conversions, because I think a lot of times people just get fed up and frustrated with social media and want to throw their phone in the ocean. I know I get there sometimes. And so a lot of times it's just learning the how-tos and the whys and the psychology behind what makes people click, what makes people like things, and what the algorithm actually wants. And that's what I'm here to teach. So open to any questions people have, especially entrepreneurs, about social media.
Good. Your energy is always so fantastic. Also a new friend, but I'm so grateful to know you. And I'm ready for hearing your session later today. So thank you so much for being here. All right, now we're going to go on to Holly, who you got to just hear from a little earlier. I'm so excited to introduce you to this powerhouse. Holly, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Holly Joy McCabe. I'm a neurosomatic therapist. I kind of specialize with trauma, but really through the brain, body, nervous system lens. But I also blend psychology, neuroscience, and subconscious mind work into my healing modalities. And I'm also a serial entrepreneur obsessed with women's health and wellness as a whole. So I'm the owner of Zen in a Bottle, which is a women's vitamin and beauty line. And basically my entire mission through my 15 years as an entrepreneur has kind of condensed down to one goal, which is helping women feel better, to function better and thrive, like mentally, physically, spiritually, to heal, grow, and thrive. So that's kind of my passion, and that's what's infused in all of the legs of my entrepreneurship obsession. So that's who I am.
So happy you're here, and everyone wants these vitamins, and make sure we're dropping links in the chat. So excited to have you and to have you at the in-person summit as well. So thrilled that you're here. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
All right, and let's jump into last but certainly not least, Miss Kay. Hi, girlie. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Oh, you're muted, love.
I am Kay Jones, newly reintroduced as Kay Shakta, as I have come into my full goddess embodiment after being in the wounded feminine for way too long. So I'm all about helping women really connect to the power, the love, the force, and everything that's already within them, so they don't have to keep searching outside of them for all of that stuff to fulfill them. So that's my goal through orgasmic healing, through inner goddess healing, through, just remembering who the F you are and forgetting about what everybody else has made you believe you are less than to be. So that is what I'm all about. That is what I'm here to do. And I'm super excited to share the juicy perspective that I have as far as embodying your goddess.
Every time you speak, Kay, I just want to be more of a goddess. Thank you so much for being here. Literally part of my closest inner circle, always with the best ideas. We're very similar and get to share our geniuses with each other all the time. This whole group. I can't say it enough. I'm so grateful each of you are here. Let's go ahead and dive into some questions. So I'm going to start with a question that works for everybody. So you have a couple minutes to think. And if you're ready to go, once I ask this question, feel free to just unmute and chat. I want to know what success looks like for you. To you, what does success look like personally and in your business? How would you define it? And how can you share that with the group? Anybody ready to go?
I can go.
Sweet.
Everybody often cheers. I guess I can pop in. Hi guys. Success feels like freedom to me. So success means that I have the freedom to make choices. I have the freedom to step into whatever decision I feel in the moment. It means spontaneity. So for me, success just means I have the ability to make spontaneous decisions, and I also have the freedom to make any decision I wish. So success just means I don't have any limitations on my choices, which could look a lot of different ways financially, but also time and through limitations we find in our own body. So, yeah.
Yes. Love that. Who's next?
I'll go.
I'll go.
Oh,
Go ahead, Holly.
We'll go Holly, then Stetson.
Okay. So success for me really looks like two things: capacity and flexibility. And I think when I think of success, I don't think of it compartmentally like business and then health and then me as a person. I think of all of that as one thing. I think everything is interconnected. So I think of having the capacity to navigate the hard times, the stressful times, the sad times, all of the turbulence in business, and then the flexibility to shift in and out of certain modes as you navigate those things. So like this past week, my little dog had an emergency, and I could not only have the capacity to navigate that in my business and personal life, but I had also had systems and structures in my life built that I had the flexibility to shift modes and shift priorities. So to me, as long as I've been in the entrepreneur space, that has been something that I've grown more and more, is the flexibility and capacity, because it is not a linear path and journey in life. It's very turbulent and very all over the place. And those two things are, to me, the most fundamental to maintain being balanced and embodied.
Love that. All right, let's dive into Stetson.
Yeah, thanks. I think success, talking from a social media perspective too, a lot of people think success looks like the amount of followers or the amount of attention you're getting, right? And so for me, it's really defining what success means for each person, because it is different. So for me, and I'm talking to the entrepreneurs out there that have probably felt this way, I will be successful when I have a podcast, when I make six figures, when I'm doing this. Well, I can tell you from personal experience, like I thought those things too, and then I still don't feel successful. But it's kind of celebrating the small wins. So I feel like people who crave success are always going to crave success, and for me, it's like I'm never content. So it's celebrating the small wins. Like, I do have a podcast. Is it perfect right now? No. I am on social media. Is it perfect right now? Maybe not. And so it's success. I think if you can just define it into bite-sized little wins, like what do you need that week or that day, then you can feel successful because you got something done. But I know a lot of people I work with just have big, grandiose visions and ideas. We, as entrepreneurs, a lot of us do. And so you don't feel successful sometimes, even after you hit some of those milestones. So my suggestion for people is just kind of take it in bite-sized little wins instead of thinking of overall big success.
Love that. Oh, if you're still talking, that's we can't hear you. Oh, Stetson, we can't hear you.
I wasn't talking. I was done. So
Oh, okay. I don't know. The math is moving. It just might be a little bit delayed. Okay.
delayed,
Awesome.
baby.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I want to dive into a specific question for one of our speakers. So, Lindsay, I'm going to go with you if you're ready. I mean, I haven't asked the question yet, but you will be ready. It's
I'm
up here.
ready.
So we got a question from the audience to you. How can we adjust our financial self-care based on what life stages that we're on? Like, we're starting to think about a family, we're starting a business, we're, caring for aging parents, things like that. Could you speak to that for a few minutes?
Yeah. So I really like to remind people within their financial self-care that we get really bogged down in like the day-to-days. Like, what am I spending? I'm not saving enough. Like all of these like micro questions, which is fine to an extent. We have to go through the numbers at some point and look at those like expenditures and all that. But I also look and I really encourage people to zoom out in their finances. Like I can already tell you, we have a lot of the next 6 months, even the next year already planned out. Like I know we're going to have an influx of cash in March. What does that mean? What are we going to do with it? And that's March 2025. And so I really play to the seasons. In my personal life, I have a 1.5-year-old and a 3.5-year-old. And so we have to turn up the dial on like convenience spending. And sometimes like I don't have the capacity. Going to the success question, right? There's currencies of money, time, and energy. And in my like energetic state, I don't have that much to be like giving around. So I need to make sure that I'm turning up the dial on my convenience spending, which could mean and impact other areas of maybe my investing, my savings goals, things like that. And so attuning to your specific needs, personal finance is just that, it's personal, and making sure that you are in your numbers to know exactly what you are bringing in and knowing what's going out and how to turn up and down those dials on the things that are mattering to you in that point. Sometimes you might be in a state where it is okay to pull back on spending because you really want to crank up that investing, or maybe again you want to turn down that investing because you need to spend more on investing in yourself or in your business in some sort of way. But that's kind of how I like to think of that. Does that answer the question?
It does. I think like having looking at your numbers is so key. That's something you've taught me. So I think that's the key. It's like, especially as an entrepreneur, you're going to step into flux, but you know, like what certain things need to happen in order for you to get to that next level. Maybe it's taking on a side hustle or a side job or walking dogs like I do. It just takes something that can take that pressure off, especially as you're pre-planning for things into your future. So that's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I have another individual question submitted for Molly, if you're ready. So the question here is, how can we handle negative self-talk that might hinder our manifestation efforts, like getting in our head, that inner mean girl kind of concept?
Oh, okay. This is a good question. Like, how deep do we want to go? So, we have, I'm going to say, roughly 30,000 thoughts on a given day. And how many of those thoughts are conscious thoughts versus how many are just passing through? So negative self-talk, while important, I think, and correcting and adjusting and shifting, that is essential work that we should be doing. I think that it goes a step further into the subconscious, which is really belief systems. So if you're seeing things hinder your ability to manifest in real time, if you aren't seeing the financial milestones manifest or the certain success marker that you are desiring, it's likely not even about the thought level. It goes deeper than that. It is on a belief level. It is within the subconscious and conscious mind. So while I think it's really important to, in real time, every day, make an effort to correct that and say, like, no, I can do this and believe in myself, I think that we would be doing a disservice and not getting into those beliefs and that core belief and saying, why am I speaking this way? Why is this coming up for me? Why do I not feel it's possible? Why is this not, kind of getting into the more nitty gritty of the core of these thoughts, really. And that's where I believe the adjustments happen and the breakthroughs and the transformations and the greatness happens when we are able to expand on our beliefs. I don't know if that makes sense. I can clarify.
You're muted, Allie, I think.
Oh, there we go. See, we're all going to do it once. Maybe not. Maybe just me. But I think you nailed it there, Molly. I think it's the power to change your thoughts. Just because you have that one thought come through doesn't make it absolute fact and doesn't make it something that you have to believe. So you're right. The power of the process certainly comes when we start challenging those beliefs. Absolutely. Awesome.
Allie,
Okay.
can I add to that?
Absolutely. Please do.
Because I just recently, not just recently, but there was an activity that I did with one of my mentors that really changed my self-talk, and it was a very unorthodox approach. So the beliefs that I was believing to be true, I took it in the opposite step and I accepted the truth of it. So when I was low and I was like really, I had low self-esteem and I, was like just doubting myself and like feeling ugly. And so one day I'm like, well, you are fucking ugly. And I was like, I was like, oh my God. And I was like, well, you're right. Cause I'm not doing the skincare routines that I really want to be doing. I'm not eating properly to like make sure that I'm looking my best and feeling my best. I'm not putting in effort in how I'm getting dressed. So with me being honest about the limiting beliefs that I was having or like the negative self-talk that I was having, it helped me to believe it to be true. So then I can do what I needed to do to not believe that about myself anymore. And then it helped me realize after I started doing that I've already been doing it. So if I'm like having a negative belief that like I'm irresponsible, and I'm like, you're right, you are irresponsible. You don't do anything. You don't handle anything. And then I'm like, okay, well, how can I change that? What can I do to start handling things? And then I start to see that, oh, these things that I can start doing, I've already been doing. So then it cancels out the limiting belief. And then I'm like, that was stupid to have. So like, sometimes you got to be that blunt, honest, like very raw person for yourself. How I would want some of my closest friends to be with me. Like I want people to give it to me raw, give it to me real. And we have to do that with ourselves in order to really stop believing limiting beliefs. So that's like a more practical approach to do that.
Yeah. And I also think it's like when you say those things out loud and you hear how they sound, you can go, well, maybe believe that right now in this moment, but it's not really true. Right.
Exactly.
Just going through those actions. Exactly. So like the starkness of hearing that going, okay, wait, come on now. Like take a second. Like obviously you're not XYZ. Like these are just some things that you can do to improve your life and feel good in your day to day. So I love that. Thanks, Kay.
Yeah. Like it's almost like you didn't expect yourself to be like, oh, well, like you expect yourself to like go into the maze of things. That's so interesting. I was just like putting it in a comment. I was like, how do you navigate like the sensitivity around the shame cycle that you could easily fall into if you try that approach? JK.
Yeah. Right. So that's all about.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Because a lot of people, especially women, like we really struggle with our shame cycles, and that's a really sensitive that particular like right. That's the like little piece of shame, but some people that's a lot bigger. I feel like for others, right. Like what do you? I don't know. I just wanted to
that's a good point on that a little bit. And with everything, there's like duality. There's like one side of things and one side of things. So I need that harsh, raw, real. Some people need that soft, mothering, nurturing, timid approach. Like, no. Like if your friend were to say the thing about themselves and you're like, no, don't say that about you. Like, that's not true at all. Like you take a more loving, nurturing approach. So whichever approach you need to take to like help you be empowered through that limiting belief. And even if you believe it for weeks, or you believe it for months, you're going to get to a point where that belief starts to like not be true because your body don't feel good. Like if you're doing something where your body is like not feeling in harmony or in alignment with what you're saying or what you're doing, that's a direct sign that it's not in alignment with who you are at your core. So you have to keep feeling that discomfort until your pain tolerance get to an unbearable point, and you say, okay, forget it. I got to do something about this. I don't believe this. I don't like this. I don't want this. But so many people have like really high pain tolerances, and they endure discomfort in the presence of other people because of, you know, a commitment or a word, you know, or their love or their, you know, integrity, whatever it is. They stay in that discomfort because their pain tolerance is high. I personally have low pain tolerance, so I give about 8-10 tries, and I'm like, if I still don't feel good after that 8-10th try, I got to go, because I have to go where my body feels good and safe. And so many people will continue to not feel good and safe for the sacrifice of themselves, but the happiness and comfort of somebody else. And eventually that's going to get tiring, and you're going to figure out what you need to do to stop feeling that.
100%. And it's going back to what Molly started with. It's like, it's not having it. We're going to challenge the beliefs that we have in ourselves. And the process to challenge those beliefs is exactly what you're talking about, just in different like strategies, which I love, because if there's anything about this panel and the women who are attending, it is about doing life differently. And that means that we can all have different approaches, which is what's so beautiful. We don't have to do things the same way as everyone else. Holly was talking about in her keynote today about how the world's not built for us as women. And so we have to challenge the system. We have to do things differently than our predecessors. And what a gift that we are recognizing and doing that with intentionality. Jennifer, I have a question for you if you're ready. So if you were going to look back to the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, what piece of advice would you give to someone who's just starting off now? I know you talked about failing fast and such, but like, is there something that you can sort of get out of that?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to kind of wrap that back to the first question you asked about what does success look like to you, because I was thinking about my response and I feel like this ties in with both of those. So for me, success looks like I know that I made the best decision that I could make today with the information that I had. And I think giving that advice back to the person who's just starting is, you don't know everything, nor do you know a fraction of what you probably need to know to achieve your goals one day. So my advice would be, make the best decision you can possibly make with the information that you have about where you are, where you want to go, and where you eventually want to end up. And be willing to take that step. Be willing to say, I don't know the answer, but I'm sure going to figure it out. Or I don't know the answer and I'm going to try and figure it out. And maybe it's wrong. Most of the time, it's probably going to be wrong. As a person who fails every single day and has a really hard time accepting that, most of the time it's going to be wrong. And I tell my virtual assistant students this all the time as I mentor them to start their business, is accept when you wake up in the morning, you're going to make a wrong decision. Don't make the wrong decision intentionally. Go into the decision making the best decision you possibly can make with everything that you know, and learn and grow through it. And I think the only reason that I am in the space of where I am right now with my entrepreneurship journey is because, especially on the hard days, I was willing to accept where those failures were and choose to not be hard on myself when that was happening. Now, I'm not always good at that. There are definitely days that I'm hard on myself. I am not perfect, but doing my best to be intentional in that decision. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like total sense. Like you can't see it, but everyone is literally like nodding their head going like, oh yeah. And this is coming from someone telling you to fail. I mean, the women in this group, I know you can tell by looking at them, but just to reiterate, are like incredibly successful by most of definitions of success, including Jennifer, who has built her business to 6 figures. She is incredible. She is out here doing the work, and she's telling you you're going to fail in the process. So probably a good person to listen to, just saying.
Yeah, and I mean, in the last 2 years have not, like, I've been doing my virtual assistant business for 2 years, but entrepreneurship before that looked really different. Like, entrepreneurship for me started in probably 2016, trying to figure out WTF I wanted to do, right? And I still don't know. Like, the definition changes every day. I'm adding new parts to my business every day. So I don't know, just being willing to say you don't know, in my opinion, is like such a growth step, because I wasn't always willing to say that, and I don't know. I don't, and not every day.
Love it. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I have a question for Casey, if you're ready. What would you say has been the biggest challenge that you've faced in building your business? Coming in with the, softball for you, Casey, but like, what's been the biggest challenge and the lesson you've had to learn in the process?
So I would say for me personally, the biggest challenge is just and this is also a blessing. So I don't want this to come off as like I am ungrateful for it, but really the expansion, like it's happening fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm opening multiple cities and chapters. I will be doing another group coming up in August. And so really for me, it's like all of that back end stuff and the systems, which Holly and we still need to talk about this. And, Holly's so good with her systems. And I am scared to, loosen the reins a little bit, because this is my baby, other than my other 3 babies that I have, and this is my brand. And I plan on doing this until I stop working. I plan on LLN going international, and I have lots of big plans. Like Stetson said, all of us entrepreneurs have these grandiose ideas. But it really is finding your people. That is number one. And that's one of my favorite things about LLN is the kinds of women that we are attracting at these events and in our community. But really setting up those systems and having people help you, right? So like Stetson helping with social media, and Jennifer with the finance stuff, right? Like you cannot do it all. You may go into it thinking that you can, but if you are going to grow to a big level, you need help. And I think accepting that failure is going to come. It truly is. And, just being okay with that, comfortable with that, knowing that it's not actually a failure. It's actually just a growth point. It's like an opportunity for growth and learning. And that's never going to stop, guys. Like if you ever meet someone, I don't care if it's like Grant Cardone or anyone who's like, I have nothing left to learn and I have mastered, life and business at every single level. It's like, okay, you're not my people, because you're not honest. It's not true. And so I think really just honing in on those pain points for you. For me, it is figuring out those systems and figuring out the people to put in place for that. I do have a virtual assistant who has been amazing and a game changer. And I'm so grateful for her, but I still need more. And so it's like I'm taking little baby steps, right, to get there to where I need to get to do this next big expansion.
Great answer. Yeah, it does. I mean, you were talking about some of the challenges and then what you've done to overcome them. So remembering that you do need support. And this is what a community like this is for. It's for your growth. It's for connection. It's for you not to feel like you're crazy as you're going through this entrepreneurship journey, side hustle in the corporate world. It's the quality of your connections and then the amount that you can ask for support and get that support, like actually go in and follow through. Because it's one thing to like put it out there in the ether and complain, right? You're welcome to do that, like to each their own. But if we can actually take the action behind what it is we need to move forward, then we're in a great spot. I feel like that goes into like connecting with Holly Joy on this one. You were talking about how Holly Joy has recommended to you different systems and things like that. So Holly, what would you recommend for someone who is maybe earlier to midway or trying to grow in their, entrepreneurship journey? What are some systems and strategies that you've used that you feel like could be helpful across the board?
I think the number one thing when it comes to hiring, outsourcing, onboarding team members or systems, the same principle kind of applies across the board, which is start thinking about it 6 to 12 months before you ever feel like you're ready to pull the trigger on it. So many people know for months and years on their journey as they grow, I need help. And the longer you delay even thinking about preparing for it, the more overwhelming that next step gets. So say you're brand new to your journey. Now's the perfect time to start documenting everything that you do and start really writing down and organizing. How do I do this process? Get systems and documents and paperwork in well before you ever think about training, because I assure you, every new step that you take, you'll forget how to start the process. You'll forget what you would need to teach someone. And I've been through this at different times too. And I've hired somebody. Systems aside, you still have to teach someone how to use the systems. And if you don't have really good kind of processes and outlines of how you do things already outlined, then that process becomes really turbulent and really stressful. So just really thinking about in advance, these are all the things that I do on a daily basis. I'm going to write in detailed instructions how I do each of those, and just do one a month, do one task a month and kind of break it down. And then you can also explore specific systems that can automate that. I'm actually a huge fan of AI and ChatGPT. They can take so much of your brain power and streamline things when you really learn how to do that. But most people aren't to a point where they can even use ChatGPT in the best way, because their own processes, the things that they do in their business, are very disorganized. They wake up and they just kind of, I do this. You have to start with organizing your own things first before you can outsource it to either a system or a processor or a platform or software or another person. So really getting that clarity and that structure and that organization from the very beginning is going to help you so much throughout your entire journey.
Love that. What a great reminder that unless you have clarity on your vision, you can't bring in these outside things and think they're the solution, right? The solution's in here, but it's just a matter of taking the time to slow down and connect to who you are, to uncover her, right? To understand what it is that you need to move forward. And only you have that answer. You cannot go outside of yourself for this. You can use support of events like this, the live event in October, mentorship, resources, things like that. But unless you are doing the learning yourself, you're not going to know what those answers are and what the correct path for you. Totally resonate with that. Thank you, Holly. So I have a question that's going to go to, I believe this is a good one for Rach and Molly. So I'm going to let either one of you dive in once I ask the question. So you, all of the women in this group, but you two specifically, are standing out to me as women who do live life differently, who really do. Molly, you embrace a slow living lifestyle. Rachel, you put so much fun in your day to day. And everyone in this panel does this, but to talk to each of you, how would you say you've been able to do that? Are there tips, techniques, anything that you could offer to our audience today? Let's start with Molly. You're shaking your head.
I love this question so much. And I think that it kind of builds on the greatest challenge for me too, because I spent so much of my life trying to fit in, trying to be something that I wasn't. And I built my first company largely in the masculine, very doing energy, very work harder, work smarter, like just that constant grind. And I got all the way, sorry, it's thundering and lightning here. So if you hear that, I'm really sorry. But the power in this room is so strong. We like summoned this storm. But yeah, I got all the way to a multiple six-figure company. I was on my way to being a millionaire, and I was completely burned out. I was exhausted. I wasn't well. I was physically ill. There were so many things that just weren't in alignment in my life. And I kind of had this moment, this awakening where I was like, I can't be someone else anymore. I can't do this. I can't just pretend. I can't try to be a million things that people want me to be. I am exhausted. And that slow living came from this moment of like, what do I want in life? And ultimately, I was thinking about this with that question about how do you identify success? Success for me is one marker. When I wake up in the morning, what is the first thing I think of? And if I wake up feeling like, oh, I have so much going on, that is not success for me. I need to realign. If I wake up in the morning feeling like I can't wait to see my daughter, I can't wait to feed my chickens, I can't wait to live this day, that is success for me across the board. So it's always coming back to this sense of balance and not being afraid to embrace the slow life. And I know that sounds really odd, but so many of us, I think, feel that if we take our foot off the gas, that it won't happen for us, that we have to continuously work harder and harder and harder. But working hard doesn't guarantee success. It just doesn't. And honestly, working less, leaning on support often leads to receiving more in life. So I think that that courage to just be myself has come from experience. And the moment I embraced all slow living aspects of life and just stepped into my own, that's when the magic started happening. And that's truly where what led me here to this day.
So good. So good. Thank you, Molly. All right, Rach, how are you living life differently than her?
Oh man, I love what she said so much, because there's something to be said about when we're saying yes to what we believe we should say yes to, and we say no to there's an opportunity cost, right, Lindsay? Opportunity cost here. She talks about it with finances, but there is with absolutely everything. And what I came to realize, I mean, I've always been the like matching different things, like different patterns and stuff. I've always lived life differently. I've been neurodivergent my whole life, and I've been pretty loud about it. I mean, I got diagnosed when I was 30, but like it all made sense. Like, so I was always like the wonky one, the one that was the most honest about a lot of different things. So I always accepted my difference at a very early age. I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. I always knew I was going to take a different path. I always knew. So like it's coming from that aspect of things. But when we start to align things, so it's like when I'm saying yes to this, it's because I'm also saying yes to myself. It's because I'm also saying yes to the future of a relationship, or I'm choosing to say yes to what's in my journey today, right? One of my favorite things to say is that's not my journey today. Like if it just doesn't align. So sometimes that means I have a bed person day and I just sit and I read all my smut, and that's all I do for the day. Like, and the next day I wake up, I have a fully productive day, and whatever that feels like. So it's interesting because it's like I love the embracing of a slower lifestyle, especially as a detox from what we are previously subjected to, and especially as women being on a completely different schedule from what we should be doing. So what I really love is just the overall acceptance of like what's in my journey today, and like I get to say yes, and it gets to be enjoyable. And if it does not, maybe there is a different lens that I can do if it is something I do need to do, and I know that it's just right in the way of getting where I am to where I want to be, then maybe I can just shift my lens on that and find a different way to approach it. Or I can really make that true assessment. Another thing that you had said earlier is like, why is this coming up for me? And like really, really listening to yourself. If you want to wear polka dots and stripes today, like it gets to be fun and it gets to be an enjoyable process. So I think like beyond that, saying yes to just acknowledge what you're saying yes to and what the opportunity cost is, right? If saying yes to something means it's costing you, or it's saying no to yourself, be very aware of that. And the pain tolerance that Kay was talking about, it really gets real. Like I say a lot of the times when I'm saying yes to me, or I'm changing the yes and I'm saying yes, and like changing the lens and I'm saying yes to different things, my pain tolerance for what doesn't serve me is really low. So if it doesn't serve me, I really have to try to reposition things for myself if it needs to get done, or it's just a hard no. If it's not an F yes, it's an F no, right? So I really love to advocate for myself in a lot of those ways. So instead of trying to work a template, think about the best way to advocate for yourself and say yes to you more. That's what I have to say.
I love that. Nailed it, Rach. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
To be fun.
Yeah, it does. And after this session, we get to learn on how it gets to be fun with Rach. So her chat is coming up. Don't miss it. All right. I have a question that's going to be for Stetson and Lindsay. Okay. I am curious, what it is, how do you remain authentic and yourself in a world that is constantly telling you otherwise? What are some ways, strategies, what's your journey with it? I would love for you to share. Let's start with Stetson.
Thank you. Can y'all hear me okay right now?
Yeah.
Is my stream good? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people want to show up authentic. So I actually don't think that's the problem. Is like how to show up authentic. I think most people just want to because they don't like the salesy. They don't like what they're seeing on social media right now or online. So they know that they're different, but they don't know their story of what makes them different. So I think how to show up authentically is really just kind of diving in to what makes you different. So I work with a lot of real estate agents here in Charlotte. And so one of them asked me one time, she said, I'm a luxury real estate agent. I'm married and I have a family. What makes me different from the woman 3 doors down who's a luxury real estate agent who's married and has a family? She's like, we're kind of the same and we're in competition. And here's the thing, it is your personal story. It is your journey. It's what you like to drink. It's what you like to eat. It's how you like to fix your hair. It's how you parent. It's all the little things that make you you. And I love to use peanut butter as an example. Jif peanut butter and Peter Pan peanut butter, right? They look the same. They have the same purpose. They're doing the same things. People are using them, but I am a Jif peanut butter girl. Y'all can comment in the comments whether you like Jif or, Peter Pan or Skippy, whatever you like. We would love to know what kind of peanut butter girl you are. But people are still going to choose you over somebody else because they like that special ingredient. There is a special ingredient that makes you you. I started showing up authentically early on and really just kind of embrace the fact that I am a Christian business owner that also loves tequila. Doesn't really go together. Like a lot of Christians didn't like it that I'm sitting here talking about taking shots of tequila. And a lot of other people didn't like the fact that I was claiming to be a Christian, but it was so funny once I started just embracing that and who I am. The people that did connect with me were my people. And so it really is that magic sauce of what makes you you. And you just have to figure out your special ingredients of what makes you you.
Perfect. All right, Lindsay, always showing up as your most authentic self. There is no other but you. Tell us how you do it.
So I love this question a lot. I think when you have really, really clear ideas of what you specifically want and not getting trapped into that comparison of like what everyone else is doing, you can start being authentically you. I personally break my goals down and I like to tell people your life goals are your financial goals. There's every life goal you have has a financial component to it. And so I don't kind of, you know, separate those. And so I like to break my goals down into 2-year goals, 2 to 10 year goals, and then 10+ year goals. And so when you have a really specific idea of what you yourself are trying to accomplish in this lifetime, business related, family related, hobby related, like it doesn't matter what it is, what you want to accomplish, then you can start attuning to those things and you can tell other people it's not for me. A really great example is this whole housing versus or mortgage versus renting debate. Is it throwing away money if you're renting? No, because if you're living the life that you want to live, and it's giving you flexibility, it's giving you time to not have to worry about the maintenance. And if your water heater goes out and the stress of that, that's the landlord's issue. That's not your issue, right? And so that can be a really good choice for somebody who, and so there's naysayers who are going to say, but you're not building equity and blah, 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 blah. Fine. I'm a homeowner. Like that is in alignment with my goals right now. I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong. It just depends on what you specifically want. And the more clarity you have around what you specifically want, the more authentic you can show up because you are really sorry, the chat keeps like popping up and so it's distracting me. And you can just get a really good idea of like being unapologetically tuning into you rather than what the Joneses want, what the Kardashians want, and everyone else that we're trying to keep up with.
Love that. Solid. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to rapid fire to end it out in our last 10 minutes. So I want to know from each of our speakers, and I'm just going to go straight down the line from Rachel all the way through Kay, and just ask you the same question. So what it is that you would feel like one resource or skill that you would recommend to our audience that allows you to live life differently and live life to your truest fulfillment. So we'll start with Rachel.
So my greatest gift to myself is to turn every non-negotiable task into an experiment, making it into like play or a game or an experiment, which removes the potential of like it failing from my emotions. So if I turn something from that's a non-negotiable task that I have to do into an experiment, it gets to be like this like science experiment as opposed to like, what if I fail? So make it fun, make it an experiment.
Love it. All right, Molly.
I think that meditation obviously is my skill and tool that I would recommend, because I think it's really hard to live our lives differently or in alignment if we don't actually know who we are. So meditating every day or as often as feels aligned is that opportunity to quiet the noise and just get really in touch with ourselves.
Perfect. Thank you, Molly. All right, Jennifer.
I think for me, it's allowing myself to be completely, fully transparent with myself and with people around me as I'm going through something. So my father-in-law once told me the best piece of advice was, as long as you are 100% telling the truth, there's nothing that could be wrong or go wrong or someone could be mad at. So just always be honest and willing to play to who you are and share that with others.
Love it. Thank you. All right, Casey.
I would agree with all of the others and just add, it really is being honest with yourself, true to yourself, and aligned with yourself. So whether that is like meditating or journaling or taking a walk in nature, just kind of turning off the noise and figuring out who you are and what you actually want. And, really quick to that success question at the beginning, it's like, do you wake up excited about what you're about to do? Like, I absolutely love building community with women and watching women shine and seeing them get pumped up and feel, it's like it fills me up. And so that is what success is, right? As far as work, like, do you love what you're doing truly, or do you feel like you're doing it because you have to, or this other person is, or whatever? It's like, do whatever exercise or thing you need to do to get that clarity within yourself, because you'll feel it. It's like a physical feeling and a reaction, and you'll know.
Perfect. Thank you, Casey. All right, Lindsay.
All right. So the common thread here is clearly turning inward and figuring out the things that you really want, whether that's through your meditation practice and turning off the noise, right? And like all these different things, building community is a wonderful way to build other people up. I love these answers. My next step then is always like, how are you going to fund these things? Because for me, I'm well aware that financial stress causes implications for your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, your intellectual health, like your sexual health, all of these things. If you are not financially sound, stable, confident, competent, are going to impede on that. And so I'm then the one that comes in and says, okay, you did the work. Let's see where you came from and then how you need to get to go where you want to go and how your finances can support you in that journey.
Love that. And always bringing it back. It's always there. It's something we try to avoid, but it's not that. Also, if you don't see her book behind her, you all need to go get that. I'm so glad it's behind your head. I got 99 problems, but oh my gosh, why don't I remember the name of it? Plug it, Lindsay.
Sorry, I'm messing with the mute button. I got 99 coping skills and being a bitch ain't one.
Grab it. Easy read, pick it up and drop it as much as you need. There's a lot of really good self-care stuff in there. So
one caveat I will say, it is not fiscally driven. Like, it is not all about money. It is general coping skills. I was a licensed therapist for 5 years before niching down into this. So beware. Some people are like 99 coping skills for coping with finances. And I'm like, different.
Some of those people. All right, Stetson.
Yeah, I agree with everything that everybody said. Really, tapping into that why. Something a little different that I think I've been doing lately that's really worked for me is tapping into my feminine energy more, because I think as entrepreneurs and creatives, we're a lot in that masculine side of us, like driving the train, making sure everything's running smoothly, making the decisions. So kind of knowing what the feminine energy looks like to you, whether that's just dancing in the kitchen, listening to music, wearing something that makes you feel beautiful. That's something I've been doing a little bit more to help me like enjoy my business a little bit more, and something different. So that's something new that I'm trying, and it's been working for me lately.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you. All right, Holly.
I love all of these and the segue. I believe so fully in the whole everything is within that I literally have it tattooed on my wrist. This says always within. And it's kind of a perfect segue into what my answer was going to be, which is have the curiosity and the courage to go deeper. Whether you're struggling with something in life and you're trying to heal something, or you're trying to like go to new levels that are new and foreign to you and it feels turbulent, it feels like there's resistance, be willing to dive into those deeper layers. And for me, deeper layers are your subconscious, your brain, your nervous system, all that stuff that's beneath the surface. And then additionally, on a cellular level, things like micronutrients and stuff. I think we stay a lot of our lives in those upper layers, in the mind, in the exercise. Those things are all so great. But sometimes if we hit this point where we just don't feel like we can move forward, we have to go a little deeper and look at those deeper traumas and the deeper mechanisms of our brains and bodies to really bust through those barriers.
Solid. And last but certainly not least, with I'm sure the beat drop, Miss K. Shakta.
No, honestly, like the ladies covered a lot of it that is really important. One thing that has been super beneficial to my life very recently is the surrender to whatever shows up. Like I used to get really judgmental and self, criticizing when I, get emotional or I explode or I'm not working or I'm, deciding to just lay and be lazy. But I've gotten to a point where whatever needs to be expressed and comes up in that moment, it was from the divine and it's for somebody or something or my highest good. And so when I do things, I'm just like, oh, this is great. This is perfect. This is exactly how it's supposed to happen. When I flip on somebody, because my emotions, I'm really emotional and passionate, and it's not me flipping, but people will take it as flipping, where I'm just like, well, you took it how you took it, and I hope you gather whatever insight you got to get from it, and I move on. Like, I'm just like, however I show up, whatever I'm doing is literally perfect. I'm doing great. Even when people are like, why are you doing it like that? I don't have any answers. I'm just following the flow of air. And wherever I end up, that's just what it is. Like, it's so freeing. It's so just like, I can be present and I can just be connected to my day to day without being engaged in mental commentary or internal inner discomfort. I'm just connected through my senses and living a very sensual life.
Solid. How permission giving. I want you to note right here, my friends, that none of these ladies gave you a product, something to buy, nothing, right? Like, absolutely go buy Lindsay's book. Go get Molly's meditation app. I love Wild Minds. I use it all the time. Support all of these women. But the real answers were things that are totally within your control. Control what you control, go within. I'm all about it. Thank you so much, ladies, for all of your time today. I want to respect that. We're going to hop off with all of you. Thank you. I will see some of you tomorrow. And thank you for those who joined us today. And we'll see you at the in-person summit.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're back to just us. Oh my goodness, what an experience. I am absolutely on a high from this. Like, so cool. I hope you took in all of those pieces. I want to give us just, again, a 5-minute little stretch, little activity just to get us really back into our bodies. We will be diving into a short yoga session after this. It's about 14 minutes of a practice. If you, no matter where you are in your yoga practice, you never practice yoga to being an expert, this is totally a space that's safe for you. So that'll be happening in just a couple of minutes. So totally optional if that's not for you, but I will say getting some movement in at this time, especially after you've been so attentive and so incredibly participating in this time. We've got some really great talks to close us out for the day. And so I want to make sure that our bodies and minds are feeling good. So let's go ahead and take some deep breaths together. Deep breath in. And on the way out, I want you to shake. Holly would be proud of me if she was still on. Very somatic, like getting into somatic movement. Make sure your feet, if you are sitting, go ahead and stand up, get your feet on the floor, and let's do that again. Let's go deep. Yay, Holly said she's proud. Awesome. Deep breath in. And shake it out on your way out. Shake it out. Let's do that one more time together. Again, if you haven't stood up, get your feet on the ground. I am barefoot. I will be barefoot this whole time because this is how I feel grounded. It's how I feel connected. It's how I get the message out to you. So again, showing up differently, even putting your foot up in a live summit. So deep breath in and let it out. All right. All right. All right. Whew. How magical going into the rest of our afternoon. I want to remind you again, these women that you're experiencing from them and others will be a part of our Uncovering Her Summit that is live October 16th and 17th in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you weren't catching it earlier, it actually starts as of the 15th for our VIP and elite level ticket holders. So you get a full extra evening, which is, I'm very, very excited about this. We're going to be doing a cocktail hour for our unveil level for the platinum, and for the VIP is included as well, where you will be able to literally come in your cozies. Like, I'm not talking about like fancy PJs. I'm talking about like what you are most comfortable in. I will be in sweatpants. I hope you will be too, for our VIP and elite platinum ticket holders. Coming and listening and recording a live podcast with a really, really incredible podcast that I'm so excited to share. Local here to Charlotte, incredible women. And I can't wait. I just can't tell you yet. So you'll get cocktails and snacks, and we'll be able to really think like adult sleepover, all your best girls getting comfortable, getting to know each other, like the ultimate in, again, walking away from this feeling relaxed, feeling really intentional, feeling really connected to yourself. That is what will happen. And again, if you are in the platinum or unveil ticket holders, you're going to get a business alignment audit, which is going to talk a lot about your cycle and where you're at, and your human design and how we can implement those into a business that really feels really good. And you want to wake up every day and be excited, and all the things that the ladies were talking about there. Access to our mini mastermind, and then a private dinner. So you'll get to actually sit and talk with some of the speakers who were here today. So that's the highest level. Then we have our VIP ticket. Again, that'll get you that cocktail party and live podcast recording, a VIP swag bag. And then your general admission ticket gets you all of the basics, plus a swag bag, and you'll get to be able to be a part of this experience. So scan that QR code in the top corner, buy your tickets. I can't wait to see you there. I'm going to go ahead and give us a little 30-second timer, and then we're going to go into a yoga session with Laura. Like I said, it's completely optional. You could also just sit there and do some deep breaths and really get connected into your body before we go into our afternoon session. So take this spaciousness. See you in a few minutes.
Hi everyone, my name is Laura Woodcock, and today and tomorrow I'll be leading you through a couple meditation and yoga classes. I have my 200-hour certification in Ashtanga-inspired Vinyasa. Today's 15-minute yoga class does not require a yoga mat, but we will be doing some balancing. I have a footstool to use, so if you'd like to grab a piece of furniture or use the wall, please feel free to do that. I'm also going to be doing the practice with you today, so if you find yourself a little lost, please take a peek at the screen and join back in. Again, yoga should never be painful, so if you're experiencing any pain during the postures today, please back off a little bit, or if you find yourself needing more, feel free to challenge yourself and go deeper. So if you'd like to please come onto your yoga mat or wherever you're practicing yoga today, find mountain pose, which means your feet are right underneath your hips, and there is a soft bend in the knees. Roll your shoulders back, face your palms forward, spine is long and tall. Close your eyes and breathe in and out your nose. Good, let's take a few big breaths in, empty all the air from your lungs. Take a big breath in the nose, fill up. Exhale out your mouth, let it go. Again, breathe in the nose, fill up. Exhale, let it go. One more time, breathe in your nose, fill up. And exhale, let it go. Good, open your eyes if they're closed. And on your next inhale breath, reach your arms wide, reach up. Exhale, palms come down, back to your hips. Good, again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms fall. Again, breathe in, reach up. Exhale, arms down. Two more, breathe in, reach up. Exhale, release. Last one, keep reaching up, breathe in. Keep your arms reaching up, exhale. Squeeze the belly in. Keep that slight bend in your knees. Keep reaching your arms up, but the shoulders are relaxed. Palms are facing towards each other. Reach up, breathe in. And on the exhale, interlace your fingers and then press your palms up towards the sky. Big, long body stretch. Take a nice big inhale there. Exhale, tiny bend to your right. Inhale, center. Exhale, small bend left. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands come down to the hips. Close the eyes. Find your center. Notice that tiny little shift just from taking a few deep breaths and nice wide arm movements. And if you mix up right and left today, no worries. Just do whatever side comes to you first. Again, inhale, reach up. Keep those arms reaching up. Interlace the fingers. Exhale, reach up. Good. Bring your legs all the way together and then grab onto your left wrist. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend to the right. Good. If it's comfortable, look up to your top elbow. And then if it's comfortable, take your right hand or the hand that's reaching towards the ground and extend it towards the floor. Try to touch the floor with those fingertips. Good, keep breathing. Stretching the side body all the way down to your hip. Reach to your side wall with that top hand, breathe in. On the exhale, rise. Inhale, lift this low arm. And then go the other way. So grab your opposite wrist, bend the other direction. Look up at your top elbow again. Same thing, if it was comfortable for you, take this arm and reach towards the floor. Keep looking up and bending to the side. Open up the ribs, stretch all the way down to your hip. Good, reach, stay here, breathe in. Exhale, rise. Inhale, lift the arm. Good, next exhale, bend your knees and forward fold. So go all the way down. Take your gaze, look between the knees, look at the wall behind you. And then slowly nod your head yes up and down. Try to inhale at the top of your yes and exhale when you tuck your chin. Good, and then shake your head left to right. Keep breathing. That is the most important part of yoga. And keep that head down. Slowly roll up to stand for a count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Roll the shoulders down and back. Stand tall on 1. Good. Inhale, reach up. And one more time. Exhale, bend to the side. Good. Breathe out. Rise, breathe in. Opposite wrist and side bend. Good. Come to center. Inhale. And then on the exhale, cactus or goalpost your arms and twist to the right. Good. So as you're twisting, keep your hips facing forward. So only the spine is twisting. We'll come back and twist again. Inhale, go through center. Exhale, twist the other way. Keep breathing in and out your nose. Inhale, center. Again, exhale, twist the other way. This time, take your gaze, look at your back hand. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist the other way. Good job. Inhale, center. And exhale, bend your knees, forward fold. Go all the way down. Nice job, everybody. On the inhale, touch your fingertips to your shins and reach your spine long. Breathe here. The weight should be shifted forward towards the balls of your feet, and you should be looking about 4 feet ahead of you. Stay here, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly but with a flat back, rise up to stand, reach your arms tall. Touch the palms together and pull them down to your heart. Good. Keep that right foot planted on the ground and then step your left foot back into a lunge. So it doesn't need to be the deepest lunge you've ever done, but I just want you to feel that stretch in your back hip flexor, feel the work of this front quad. Everybody put your hands on your hips and then look down at your hands just to make sure that those hips are next to each other. So we want to focus first on alignment in every posture. Make sure the hips are as close to parallel as they can be. Good, keep breathing, keep squeezing that back glute muscle of your extended leg. Good, and then as you're ready, step that back foot forward a couple inches and use your breath as you exhale. Pick that knee up so it's floating in front of you. Again, if you'd like to move to a wall, now is a great time to do that. We'll be standing here for a few breaths. Good. If you want more of a challenge, you can reach your arms up, or you can cactus them, whatever you'd like to do. Take that floating leg, extend and flex the knee. Breathe as you bend the knee out. Inhale as you extend your leg forward. Good. And now we'll take airplane. So just gently floating that leg behind you. Palms face forward, pinkies are down, chest is open. Good. Pull the knee up one more time and exhale, drop it down. Lovely. Let's do the other side. So take your opposite leg and step back into your lunge. Same thing. Find a depth that works for you today. Hands on either hip and check your alignment of the hips. Good. Again, you want to stretch the hip flexor, engage the glute, and feel the work of this front leg in the quad. Keep that breath moving in and out your nose. And as you're ready, step that right foot forward a few inches. And then as you breathe out, drive that knee forward and float it in front of you. Same thing, do whatever you want with your arms. You can do eagle arms, cactus, reach up, or just keep them down by your side. And then extend and flex that floating leg. Again, exhale here, inhale as it's extended. Good, and our airplane pose on the other side. Again, pinkies are facing down. Just float that leg behind you. It's not warrior C. It's just a little bit less. Good, and then breathe the knee into the chest again. And exhale, drop it down. Great. Okay, our last balance pose today is going to be standing figure 4. So a good hip stretch, an alternative to pigeon pose on the ground. Again, you can start by standing on your right foot and then bend that left knee into your chest and cross the ankle over your knee. From here, sit down and back. And please do use something so you can get the stretch and you're not worried about balancing, unless that's what you want to work on today. And keep the same hand as the foot that is on the floor, on your chair or wall, and then use your other hand to gently push that floating knee away from you to stretch your hip. Good. As you're ready, stand up, lift that floating knee, and then drop it down. Let's do the other side. Same thing, cross the ankle over your knee, sit down and back, keep the same hand as the foot that's down, and then use your other hand to push the knee away and open your hip. Again, we are using the breath in yoga at all times, so as you hold your postures, you want to breathe in and out, and I try to relax the muscle that I'm stretching in the pose with every exhale. Good, and when you're ready, breathe in and stand up, and then exhale, drop it down. Let's come back to mountain pose, the pose that we started in today. So the feet should be firmly planted under your hips, shoulders are back, palms face forward, stand up nice and tall, close your eyes. Give yourself a moment to appreciate the time you've put in to your body just now. The love and care, the strength you've cultivated, and the peace of your mind. Embrace this new feeling. Good, take your hands together. Bring them up to your forehead. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.
Wow. My body feels good. I feel more connected. Oh, so excited to continue to get into our last couple of sessions with you. So we're going to go ahead and dive into Rach Green's session, talking about how life gets to be fun. We'll do that right after a 30-second pause or a 30-second countdown. So if you need to go use the bathroom, do something like that, good time to do it. I want to give you that spaciousness, but we'll be starting very, very soon. So we'll see you after Rachel's video.
What's up, friend? Have you ever felt like the day was Monday, but it was actually like a Thursday? In fact, the past few days have felt like a Monday, and you can't quite seem to get the motivation to do the things that you know you want to do to get to where you want to go? Well, guess what, friend? You are not alone. I'm here to show you how to make things fun. In fact, you can call me a fun expert. My name is Rachel Green. I am an expert mixologist and edutainer with Rach Green Cocktails, currently going through a rebrand into Swizzle.co. If you'd like to follow my story, you're welcome to check out my Instagram. We're currently boosting up our Instagram over on the Swizzled page, but feel free to follow my story there. But let's dive into some of this content. So I'm here to tell you how to make some of your goal setting and accomplishing those goals super fun. All right? Have you ever thought about that? Bookkeeping, fun. Well, a lot of it has to do with kind of switching up your mindset, but ultimately, if you want to, you can do a couple of these little techniques in preparation and throughout your action taking during your planning process and also your execution so that you get to have fun every step of the way. Sounds pretty cool, right? I bet. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do is kind of set myself up. So I did this actually before I came on here to meet you guys. So go ahead and give yourself a breath in. In fact, even if you want to stand up a little bit, give your little shoulders a roll. Maybe you're already standing, you're walking around, whatever that might be. Give a little shake out. Yeah, it feels really good to do these kinds of movements for yourself, a lot more than you think. And it helps you get into your body. And if you're not in your body, then you're definitely not going to be available to have fun during an experience or to be authentic in what it is you truly want. I know that sounds like a lot, but it actually is true. So every time you're trying to do something really important and you feel like you're really in your head, do something that's going to help you get into your body. Like do a little dance or go for a walk or play with your kids or do something that's going to make you feel really present. Right? So the thing that I like to do that makes me feel really present, one is dance, give it a little shake, and also a little breath work. So we're going to take a deep breath in. Go ahead and hold for 4 seconds or so. Let that all out. We are right here. We are present. We're enjoying this. This is going to be really fun. And not only are these skills for having fun with your goal setting and action taking, planning, all that stuff, it's also accessible for every aspect of your life. Yeah, you can absolutely apply this to your relationships. You can absolutely apply this to your housework or financial situation. So I'm going to show you how to kind of dive into this a little bit later. But the first thing I really want to do is remind yourself that you get to do these things, right? It's as opposed to having to do these things or I have to set up a campaign and create content, which, you know, some of these things, like especially in the financial department or even in the I'm really good at planning, goal setting, but sometimes the execution can be really daunting. So what is the loudest thing that you have in your way right now? What objective is, between you and getting to where you want to be, but it's kind of scary. It's like the elephant in the room. Go ahead and write that down now. You got it? If you need a little help, ultimately, some things that are really great is like completing a specific task. Maybe it's all the laundry that's sitting on your couch. Calling myself out right now. Learning a skill, talking to more people and networking. I have wrote a few down here. Making more sales and even creating a sustainable system that you can execute by yourself that you can eventually pass over to a team when you have more resources, right? So think about what that is, and then we're gonna dive back into our little mindset bit. We get to do this, it's amazing. We have this goal, it's really scary, but we get to do it. We get to accomplish it, and we get to put it behind us. One of my next mindset pieces that I really love to do is you don't know something yet. So you might not know something now and you might say, I don't know, but to yourself internally that says, I don't know, and I also don't really care. Versus when you say something like, I don't know yet, it's giving yourself the bridge to get the answer that you're looking for, right? So changing have to get to, and changing I don't know to I don't know yet. These are a couple of reframe things. You can always Google some more opportunities to find ways to reframe the way that you speak to yourself and the way that you speak about your environment subconsciously, right? Okay, so now that we have these things that we get to do, we have this goal that we get to do, then we're going to implement some things that are going to make this a little bit more fun. All right. So for me, my attention span's all over the place. So I like to gamify things for myself, and I also like to reward myself often. So these are a couple of things that I like to do to kind of keep me on task and also make it really enjoyable as I'm moving through things that would otherwise be not as rewarding, right? This is something that I like to call kind of when you put something together with that you don't enjoy with something that you do. Like, I like to listen to my romantasy audiobooks while I'm folding the laundry, right? So partnering up a couple of things that you don't particularly like to do with something that you do. Maybe you have a really amazing instrumental playlist, awesome Spotify algorithm, with doing your bookkeeping or logging in your expenses, right? So I like to kind of partner up some of those things to make it a lot more enjoyable. The other thing I really like to make enjoyable is by actually partnering with another human. And so I like to have a lot of female entrepreneurs in my community, and so sometimes I'll reach out to one, or they will reach out to me and say, hey, do you guys want to body double today? We'll hop on a FaceTime, and maybe for like 45 minutes of that 2-hour call, or a couple of like segments of maybe 15 minutes here, 45 minutes there throughout the time, we're actually tackling our individual tasks while we're almost creating like this office environment by being present there, but not necessarily giving everything to that other person. That person's just there to keep you accountable, and you knowing that that person is doing something that they need to do on their task list is already motivating for you to complete yours. All right, body doubling and kind of like task pairing, I guess. The last one that I'm really gonna, I have 2 more for this. All right, these are all things that you can write down that are really fun. Another one that I like to do is called the pom-pom method. So this is your goal, right? And these are all the tasks that you need to complete your goal. Now, every time you complete one of these, go ahead and take one of these and toss it in. Over the course of doing your goal, you might have originally put 10 things on your goal list, but you ended up putting like 25 or 30 pom-poms in here. Now, pom-poms can be anything. It can be M&Ms, it can be whatever. Ultimately, it's a little piece of currency that you get to reward yourself with for doing things that are otherwise thankless. So I like to do that because it's kind of like affirming to me that I completed something, even if it was as simple as I checked my email, I responded to client, I wrote up one piece of copy for one piece of content, right? As opposed to being like, wrote all the copy for all my content and getting one pom-pom. Some goals are a little bit heavier than others, and they deserve more pom-poms, right? So another way to track your progress, and this one is actually the one that I implement the most into my life, is called a done board. We all know what a to-do list is. So let me introduce you to the done board. The done board is ultimately the opposite of a to-do list, where instead of writing all the things you need to do or that you get to do, it's all the things that you have already completed. So an example being, like, this is my personal journal, so, whatever. But this is my done board, right? And let me zoom in real quick so you can kind of see. So for this particular day, I was actually deep cleaning my house. This was Sunday. So I made my bed, straightened up the master bath, washed my face, showered. So anything that I did that was not, mindless task, I went ahead and put it on here because I get to claim it as a win. Nobody is behind your back saying, you didn't deserve that as a win. Absolutely you do. Every single thing that you do, brushing your teeth, making your bed, drinking an extra glass of water when you otherwise wouldn't have, vaping less, whatever it might be. So get to call all those things in as wins, right? So task partnering, body doubling, pom-pom economy, and of course a done board. So as we move into setting this goal, which is kind of like the part of this a little bit, I'm going to run through it quickly because I bore myself with it sometimes. We get to call in our wins every step of the way. You guys ready? It's going to be just a couple of minutes. All right. So when I'm setting a goal, it has to be measurable. If it's not measurable, then it's not going to be fun as I'm trying to achieve this goal. I'm going to be kind of like running on a hamster wheel and with no finish line in sight. So for me, it's really important to have something that's measurable, that's achievable, that's specific, and that has a little bit of a deadline. Now, just because we're setting a deadline, just because we're making it achievable and something that's measured, if we don't get this done, or not in the right time, or not the right metrics achieved, or whatever it is, that's totally fine. It's an experiment, right? So I'm taking this piece of like, it has to be this like big task of like potential failure. Get that out of your head. Everything that you do is always going to improve every time you do it, right? Like anybody that was an Olympic runner, they were not the best runner at the beginning. They just really enjoyed the feeling, or they saw the end goal in mind, and they kept going, right? And people have bad days. People get injuries. Like these types of things happen. So it's okay to give yourself a little grace, remove the shame, and get it going. So I'm gonna run through this super, super quick, and I'm also gonna give you a download that you can use to set your own SMART goals. Okay, so a SMART goal is ultimately something that's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time specific. So the one that I'm working on right now is my relaunch success. So as I was talking about, my Swizzled rebrand is a product that's kind of removing my personal name from my business so that I get to incorporate more people without everybody expecting Rachel. So mine is to increase awareness towards a new brand of Swizzled through content and events. That was my initial goal. Obviously, it's not incredibly measurable, but it's something that I put at the top. This is something I already have in place, so just letting you guys know where I'm at in the process. Increased awareness of Swizzled brand by boosting brand engagement. Specific, measurable. I'm going to be measuring my visibility metrics by through the data capture on social media and email newsletter list. So what I want to for my measure is I want to increase my engagement by 200% because I'm not really producing a lot of content on there right now. So that's gonna be kind of easy. So increase by 200% on all of my social channels that I'm looking, communication channels that I'm looking to reach out on. Is it achievable? Yes, because I'm going to use it by setting up a content calendar across relevant platforms, repurposing content, and scheduling in advance to ensure all the pieces are in place. 20 pieces on main content, 10 pieces on the others. And then it's aggressive but doable for realistic because I want to do it by July 12th, which is for us just a couple of days, but I already started this last week, so all good. So the start date was last week, July 3rd, finish date is July 12th. I'm doing really great on this. So my SMART goal was, in order to properly measure successful launch, I get to prioritize, see that, reframe, increasing engagement through my communication channels by 200%, monitoring click-through rates and responses. I'm going to finish a content calendar and assets by July 12th to schedule for 4 weeks of content. Now, that's the goal. And then these are all the steps that I spelled out for myself. Now you're seeing it sectioned off by 3 because I do something called a top 3 list before I go to bed every night prior to the day that I'm going to activate that top 3 list. So for my top 3, I do find template online, fill in my platforms, go over and figure out how many pieces of content that I'm going to do for each platform and when that content is going to be released. And I do this for the next 3 weeks. Pretty cool stuff. And so every piece of this, so as you are filling out your own SMART goal, every piece that you fill out, pom-pom, done board, whatever it might be, once you finish what that SMART goal is, put a pom-pom in, write it on your done board, right? When you create this list, when you start tackling this list, every piece along the way, you get to celebrate that win. It gets to be fun, it gets to be gamified. You could even do something as far as like creating a leaderboard for yourself where you get to write all the pom-poms and all of the like points that you get to do, and you can even do this with a friend, right? Like I was talking for the body doubling, you can even create SMART goals for you and your friends. Well, you create SMART goals, they create SMART goals, and you get to hold each other accountable and even do like a fun little leaderboard to create some competition from it. It gets to be that fun and it gets to be that interesting, right? So, the last little bit of this is that I'm just going to go over. Remember to get into your body when you're setting these goals. Remember that you get to enjoy the process. And if you want to stay in touch, feel free to reach out here's my information, and I'm definitely giving away some freebies. Obviously, you're going to get that the SMART goals sheet for you to start filling out your own SMART goals. You're going to get my 5 steps for profit and time maximization. That's right, you can maximize profits and also maximize your time. And if you're really interested in the cocktail part of what I do, then I have the Home Mixology Mastery ebook, and I think you're really gonna love that as well. So without further ado, I'm gonna let you get back to the rest of the session, rest of your day, and it was a pleasure to meet you guys. Feel free to stay in touch, introduce yourself over on Instagram.
Literally one of my favorite humans in this world. Just telling you literally how to make it more fun. Why shouldn't life be more fun? Why do we have to do this where we kind of just go through the motions of things, like gamify things, make them fun? I am for sure taking all those tips with me. I hope you scan those QR codes. If you're VIP, you're going to get those there. But her cocktail at home kit, the SMART Goals Guide, which I'm going to actually put this SMART Goals Guide up on the screen as well. So if you haven't scanned that one, make sure you do. And then also her profit guide as well. So if you're VIP, those are all going to come to your email. If you want to upgrade to VIP, you still can. It's $29, steal of a deal, all of it coming to you, plus any of the sessions that you might have missed or just to replay and re-envision. So okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a journaling break before our next session. And so I want us to dive into Rachel's SMART Goals Guide. So make sure that you have that set up. So she provided that for us. But I want to start with a question. And I'm actually going to throw this in the chat so that you are able to dive in a little bit further, read it if you have. So this is a good time to get your journals out if you don't have them out already, or if you just kind of like put it to the side for a second. But make sure that you throw this, grab them, and we're going to throw this into there. So the question that I want to ask is, what would an aligned life look and feel like for you? And I want to start there. It's not just about what it would look like, it's about what it would feel like. With our Q&A, with so many of the sessions today, we talked about self-care, we talked about our dream lives, we talked about things that we can do to really connect back in. So I want us to express that. I think that was the overwhelming response from our live Q&A, that they are truly living aligned lives and lives that are different because they're checking in within. So this is the time to do that. So we're going to spend the next 10 minutes or so thinking about that. And then I want you to think about what action step you could take towards that today or tomorrow or after the summit, right? And you can utilize that SMART Goals Guide to plug it in, like Rachel was talking about. So what would an aligned life look like and feel like for you? And what action step could you take towards that today? So I'm going to play some music for us. Let's dive into that question just for the next 10 minutes or so. Okay. All right. I hope you enjoyed that time to journal and be present here in this moment. I know that I did a ton in here. I literally started writing down my most aligned life and a lot of the things that I could do starting to move forward towards that. I always check back in with this. I mean, an intentional aligned life, a life that I do differently, is something that it's constantly at the forefront of my mind, and I still need to come back and reflect on it. That's the whole point here, right? I still need to come back and rejuvenate, refresh. That's what events like this do. That's what taking the time to journal or meditate, like was talking, like the speaker shared in the Q&A. So one of the examples before we get into our next call was like, I want to wake up rested. I love to wake up rested. So some of the things I'm like, I can make sure that I have a good evening routine, a PM routine. I can make sure that I stick to a common bedtime. So a good rest the night before is key to waking up rested. And then maybe a brain dump or an intentional exercise before I go to bed to make sure that my mind is clear and I feel really connected and able to rest. So it won't happen all the time, but it is a really great step into making sure that I'm living an aligned, intentional life. So 30 seconds or so, we're going to kick off with our next chat, which is going to be fact versus fiction with Stetson. So pumped for this one. Cannot wait.
Hey guys, welcome to Fact versus Fiction, your social media edition. My name is Stetson Patton, and I'm so excited to be here today as one of your speakers. So we're going to go through the slides, and hopefully I answer some social media questions that you have. First, a little bit about me. Again, my name is Stetson. I am the lover of all things marketing. I have over 17 years. It's now 19 years in social media marketing. I know that sounds crazy, but yes, I was friends with Tom on MySpace when MySpace was a thing. I am a tequila connoisseur, a Jesus lover. I am the host of the Socially Stetson podcast. I am a loving aunt and godmother, and I'm a huge Alabama and Panthers football fan. So if you follow me on social media during the football season, it's a whole different world over there. I do have tons of free resources on my website at sociallystetson.com. So if you just want some freebies, I have tons over there. And at the end of the presentation, you're going to have some QR codes to be able to scan even more free stuff. You can find me the most over on Instagram at Stetson K. Patton, and this is a picture of my beautiful team. We do social media management and content for lots of people in the Charlotte area. All right, so the first question that I get asked the most often is how often should I be posting? So let's talk about what the experts are saying. The experts are saying to post every day or 3 times a day if you can. All right, is this fact versus fiction? Put it in the comments, chat, let us know. I say this is a fact. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but this is a fact. The more often you post, the closer you're going to get to your goals, but we are going to talk about that a little bit as well. Think of it as going to the gym or how often you read your Bible. How often do those matter? What are the results that you want? So if you want to lose 50 pounds, if you're going to the gym once a week, yes, are you going to lose weight? Are you going to probably be motivated, see some results from that? But what happens if you go every day? What happens if you go 2 times a day? So think about the results that way from social media. Could I be posting too much? So this is the follow-up question to that. Here's what the experts are saying. Keep posting. You can post as much as you want. 3 to 5 times a day is ideal. Or you'll hear experts say, post 4 reels this week, 10 carousels this week, 12 stories. And they're just telling you a bunch of things to do. Honestly, that's a little bit clickbaity, so be careful when you hear that. Just be really careful on who you're following for advice. Here's what I say. This is absolutely fiction, because when you start posting too much, not only does it lead to burnout and you just get tired of creating and doing content, so then you end up stopping creating content, and then your whole consistency and your flow stops. It is 10 times better to be consistently posting 4 times a week than it is off and on 4 times a day. So let's see. I think if you want to post more than once a day, it's fine, but make sure you're focusing on your stories. Make sure you're focusing on answering all your comments. Make sure you're showing up in the DM section on other people's platforms. That's actually more important. Here's the thing. Your engagement rate will see a decline if you're posting just to post. We call this popcorn posting. And so it needs to be engaging. It needs to bring value. It needs to, sorry about that. It needs to be a value. It is much better to post something of value to a client once a week than it is to just be popcorn posting, unless it's entertaining. So entertaining content does perform well. And I hate this statistic, but it does actually put a visual in your head. 93% of people are scrolling their social media while they're on the toilet. So sometimes you don't have to overthink it. It doesn't have to bring value, but would it stop the scroll to somebody who's sitting on the toilet, right? Kind of gross, but true. Does it matter what time I post? Here's what the experts say. Optimize your time. Look at your analytics. See when it's the best time to post. First of all, let me tell you, the people who are saying this are usually trying to promote a tool, an affiliate marketing scheduling tool that they have that they want to make money off of. Do I have affiliate marketing and links? Absolutely. I share them with everybody, but I'm not telling people to use it for that reason. And here's why. This is fiction. I can say with 100% confidence that nowadays it doesn't really matter when you post. 3 a.m. obviously isn't ideal, but anywhere between 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. have worked fine for me because people are online. I was with a client last night. She posted a post at 9:30 p.m. on Facebook, and she says, "Oh my gosh, this is doing great. I'm getting the most engagement." Now, what she's not thinking is it was a really great picture. It had a really great story. So it had a ton of elements that performed well for it to perform well. But yeah, a lot of people, kids are down, dinner's done, they're in bed, they're scrolling social media. So think of when you're on social media, that's usually when the majority of people are on social media. And how do I know this? I have tested it out several times on several of my clients' accounts. 9 times out of 10, it just doesn't matter. How many stories should I be posting daily? Now, this isn't for all platforms because not all social media platforms have stories, but TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, this one is more specific to Facebook and Instagram. Here's what the experts are saying. If you want to grow, you should be posting to your stories a minimum of 4 times a day, up to 17 times a day. I know that's a ton, but here's what I have to say about it. It's a fact. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. It's honestly the thing that I struggle with the most. I'm getting better at it. It's just one of those things sometimes you don't plan for it, but that's why people like them. It's more organic. It's more real. People feel like they get to know you. They're getting to a look behind the scenes of your life. So this has proven to me to be true. When I'm showing up in my stories daily and more than 4 times, I have seen increased engagement and followers. I'm going to tell you why. But this is important to note that you need to lead them on a journey. So don't just share a ton of reels to your post. Don't just share your post and say like new posts. Those don't really perform well. You want to lead your client on a social media journey, maybe from the beginning of the day to the end. And then you want to talk about your personal stories. You don't really want a ton of Canva graphic stories or designed, perfectly curated stories. Those just don't perform well. It's you, it's your face, it's your voice, it's your eye connection to the camera. It's what you have to say that gets that interaction in the stories.
here's why it does lead to followers. Think about it. If somebody discovers your profile through a reel or a carousel or a post, then they come to your profile, they're going to check out your stories if you have stories posted. Another client of mine today, we've been working on her social media strategy and she's been getting some great posts out, but because she's not showing up in stories, those posts aren't getting as much engagement as they could. So you do need to show up in stories. It's literally the one thing we tell our clients. We need you to do this. This has to be you. You have to show up. Can we do some things for them? Absolutely. But it's so much better if you can do it yourself. All right, should I be posting the same thing on Facebook as Instagram? Here's what the experts are saying. You need to optimize all of your posts for Facebook. And this is something that we said as well as an agency. But in 2024, heading into 2025, we have found out that this is more of a fact or fiction now. Not as much fact, but there is a catch to this. So here's, now that Facebook owns Instagram, we're kind of seeing the same engagement across the board. Different engagement. We can post a reel that shares on Instagram and Facebook. It will perform extremely well over on Facebook and not so well over on Instagram. Same with the different posts. But we're still seeing good engagement on both accounts and we're tracking those numbers. But here's what we do have to say. Now with like automations and verbiage, Instagram, it used to say click the link in bio, and you would never say that in Facebook. That doesn't go. So watch your verbiage. The cool thing is now with mini chat automations and AI automations, most people now are saying comment the word joy if this post brought you joy, just to engage. And so with AI, you can integrate that for anybody who comments the word joy on Facebook or Instagram to send them some more information, but it also helps just get that engagement up. So if you are doing that, make sure if you're not hooking it up to an AI automation that you are at least commenting back to them. All right. Do you still need to have an omnipresence? Now, what does that mean? That means showing up on all the platforms. Here's what the experts are saying. To show up on all the platforms, be a rock star, repurpose your content, remove the watermark, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You need to show up everywhere. This is fact and fiction. I say the fiction part because I don't want you to get burnt out. And the most important thing to me is that you need to start out with one platform, just one. Become an expert at one platform. When I talk to the majority of people who say, well, I'm an expert at Instagram, I say, okay, well, what tools are you using? Are you going live? Are you scheduling out the events? Are you using collaborations? Do you know how to use a broadcast channel? Do you know how to do work with the close friends group, add to your favorites? I'm going through all the things that they should be doing on Instagram, and they look at me like a deer in headlights, and they realize that they just know how to post on the platform, but they are not an expert at the platform. So you really do need to become an expert at one platform, even if that's Facebook, showing up in the stories, going live, doing the Facebook groups, having that. I do like to have an omnipresence. I think it's really important. This is where the fact comes in. Because if you can be discovered on LinkedIn, so I don't use LinkedIn as much as I should probably, but my capacity is already pulled at both ends, checking my Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. LinkedIn is not the platform right now that I enjoy checking the most, but I still get lots of good engagement and business from it. So I usually try to check it just once or twice a week, go answer some DMs, get a post out there, and just make sure I am intentionally engaging, but it's not the platform that I'm putting focus on right now. Even my podcast, I get great engagement through my podcast. I have people message me all the time about the podcast, but it's not where I'm putting my energy and efforts into right now. It will be one day. That is a 2025 goal of mine, but right now it's just not. If you do want to schedule out your platform, there is a QR code right here. This is an affiliate link, so I will make a tiny commission off of this, but it's honestly, after having, I think I've had now 4 different programs, this one's absolutely my favorite, so be sure to check it out. Right now, when I'm doing post, we're scheduling out for our clients up to 9 different platforms with one post, and it's really, to me, the best one that we have.
Okay, this one's interesting. I'm excited to go over this one with you. Reels. If you don't post them to your feed, you will get more engagement from non-followers. Here's what the experts are saying. I've heard them say if you choose not to post your reel on your feed, you will get more engagement and followers. Okay, here's what I say. This is a fact, and this is so much fun, and I get to show you proof here in a minute. This hasn't always worked for me, but the more I test and play around with it, the more it does seem to be working. So here are my results. These are two examples of reels when I went to go look at the insights, and this one was on Instagram, not Facebook. Well, they were posted on Facebook as well, but the insights on Instagram. You can see on the one to the left, the Miley Cyrus trending one, I had already posted this reel before and it did well. So what I wanted to do, we call these the ghost reels for our clients, where we'll take a reel that did well, we'll repost it a couple months later, not post it to their feed because we want to see non-followers to see it. So you can see that even though it didn't reach thousands of people, 778 of those people were non-followers, which is great. The one to the right, over 1,500 people were non-followers. Only 2 people that followed me saw this. I love this because if you can consistently show up on people's feeds, they'll hopefully, because they saw this one, you're going to start showing up in their explore page. You're going to start showing up as a suggested account on their page if they watched this reel, interacted with it at all. I did have 59 people like this post or this reel, which is huge actually because they don't know me. They're not following me. So this is a really fun way to do this. If you don't know how to do this, you definitely need to chat with me. I teach all of these strategies in some of my courses and private coaching sessions. Okay. Do you need to use SEO rich captions? Now let's talk about what SEO is quickly. SEO is search engine optimization. That basically means if I am searching for white bell-bottom pants on Google and I search white bell-bottom pants, it's going to pull up images and shoppable links for me to search those pants because they're SEO keywords that people have put in. What this might mean, let's say you make fragrance-free soy candles. You want to make sure, well, here's what the experts are saying, focus on SEO keywords. This is a fact. So this is becoming more important. You can use AI tools like Google to find SEO rich keywords to use for your industry or target market. Again, this is something we teach in my membership. I teach it in coaching sessions. So if you want to know strategies on how to find SEO keywords, I'm here for you. I'm here to help. But let's say fragrance-free soy candles in your captions for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, any social media platform right now, it is so important to put those words in it. If you know what people are Googling and searching for, that's what we need to be putting in, your captions. So make sure you're doing that. Does watch time on your reels really matter? Here's what the experts are saying. You need to keep your audience watching your reel the entire time, if not more than one time. Wouldn't that be great? This is a fact. So watch time has become super important. So just like on YouTube, Instagram and TikTok are now prioritizing watch time over how many views. Hooks matter and the anticipation matters. The dopamine is happening during the waiting period. So that's why you'll see a lot of videos with a hook and people just kind of wait, and they're waiting to get that end result. I used to work in the casino industry and I would sit people watch there on slot machines, and their dopamine levels and adrenaline levels are the highest while those buttons are spinning. And then when the results hit, even if they hit a jackpot, their dopamine levels drop down. It was highest during the anticipation segment. All right, we're getting close to the end, but can you really make money from social media? So I do get asked this question a lot, and I think it's important to know. Here's what the experts are saying. Keep posting, grow your following, sell digital products, run ads, don't run ads, talk to your audience, niche down, do a dance, don't do a dance, so on, so on. They will tell you. That's kind of, I'm joking here, but it is kind of funny because I see it in my feed all the time. Here's what I'm saying. This is fact and fiction because you can make money on social media, and I know several people who do. I'm just going to read this to make sure you hear it. I know that tugging at heartstrings is what makes people click, watch, trust, and follow. Heck, I've been in marketing for 17 years. That's exactly what marketing is. Right now with the economy the way it is, people are looking for extra income. And when somebody makes it look easy online, people will follow them just to learn how to achieve what they really want. I have friends who have had 8,000 to 18,000 months just from monetizing on TikTok. But the more people that have joined the app, their payouts started declining. I saw this too. I was getting paid from Instagram a monthly stipend, and they just took it away. So it's not a job. We're not employed. They can take away their monetization programs at any time. Yes, you can make money online, but you truly would need to become a full-time content creator if you want to monetize on the apps. Also, YouTube is the only one that pays anything really worth talking about, in my opinion, even though I think TikTok is a strong second. So this is continued. The people talking about their digital products and how much money they are making are truly only talking about how much money they are making, and they are tugging on people's emotions. Can you make money from digital products? 100% yes. I am one of the people who makes money off digital products, but this is my full-time job. None of them are talking about their expenses, the time they put into content creation, etc. So keep in mind, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Be mindful of whether you are being marketed to, or do you truly trust this person? What they are offering, watch out for what they're offering. Is it just for money in their pocket, or does it truly bring value? I say this because I have signed up for multiple courses, and I'm always like, whoa, I could have taught this class, or this was not helpful. So just be super careful. I want you to know that I am somebody that you can trust. You can come to me with any questions that you have on that digital marketing space. I am truly here to help you and guide you. So like I said, I do have some freebies. So if you want a B-roll checklist, I have that. I have a Stop the Scroll on Instagram with some pop culture templates. And then here is my social membership. If you can comment the word growing on any of my social platforms, you're going to see one, how I'm using AI automations to automate my response and messaging. But we go live twice a month to dive in deeper into what is trending, what to do on social media and all platforms, not just Facebook and Instagram. We just recently had a Pinterest and YouTube strategy as well. In the membership, you also will receive an email, which is the social trend, where you get 20 trending audios each month and a project management tool to help you track that as well. So thank you so much for having me. I would love to answer any questions. So I will see you in October for our next speaking event in person. And before then, go ahead and connect with me over on Instagram, TikTok, all the places, and ask me any questions that you want.
Wow, wow, wow. Man, she just knows how to take something that seems so complex and complicated to me as a business owner and make it so less stressful. Like all the answers I needed right there in that presentation. And this is not our only chat on social media. We'll have another one tomorrow with Kristen. So excited to share this. Normally feels like a little bit of a minefield, and it's not. And it can be really a lot less complex when we turn down the noise. And Stetson did a really beautiful job at explaining that. So want to remind you again, Stetson will be at our in-person summit in October. She'll be diving even deeper into strategy and what works for you with social media to help you, again, make sense of an otherwise really complex, complicated topic. And so I want to talk a little bit more about the structure. And again, top left corner here is how you buy your tickets. There are 3 different levels. We've gone through those today. Elite level, which is the highest level, our VIP, and then our general admission. So we want to make sure there's access available to all. Join in. You do not want to miss this event. I want to talk a little bit about the structure of the event. So I've been chatting about how this one is different than other ones. And it truly is. I am really, I told you, really protective over you all, my community, and wanting to make sure that you all are getting the best possible connections, the best possible resources and connected to the best possible products and things that are truly aligned with making you better. I talked about in the live Q&A that not one person was like, here's this product, here's this service, it is within you, but here's some things that we can partner with in order to connect us higher to ourselves. So they're not required by any means, but they are another kind of support structure. So with the structure, speaking of structure, with the summit itself, we are going to have 4 keynotes for the entire 2 days. I know that sounds crazy. We've had way more just today. We're about to have our 7th. But what I wanted is the ability to leave this event and really feel refreshed and empowered. I want you to get the gems from the speakers, and you certainly will be changed and really feel connected to yourself through what they're discussing. But I don't want it to be this overwhelming information overload, sitting in a chair for hours and hours at a time. When I say get up and move at the summit, we will be literally facilitating activities for you to be able to move. That being said, we will have workshops, and we will have the same workshops both days so that you're able to go, if you'd like, to a workshop, which will give you a predetermined list of what we feel is best based on what your goals are for the summit. So every person who registers for the summit is going to receive a sort of inventory, a short quiz that allows us to know what stage you're in and what you're hoping to get out of the summit. And so with that, you'll get a schedule. But that being said, with knowing that sometimes something hits when a speaker speaks, you may want to go take a walk outside. You may want to lay flat on the floor or do, legs high up in the air, what have you, against a wall, some somatic movement. You may want to go get a reflexology massage or have a red light experience. So there's going to be options and opportunities for that. You may want to sit in a big cozy cushion and do some journaling, and there's going to be space for this. When I tell you spaciousness, we are doing things differently with this summit. I cannot wait to see each and every one of you there. And I know this space is meant for you. I know you're meant to be there. And with that, I am so excited to share with you our closing keynote for the evening, for the afternoon, not evening. We're doing incredible. We will be done. I'll come back on once this one's finished to close up and wrap up for the day before we go into day 2. I want to remind you, if you missed any part of this summit today, go ahead and upgrade your ticket to VIP if you haven't already. So $29, you get all of this. You can watch it at your own pace, on your own time, and you're going to get all those resources directly to your email, so you're not having to scan the QR codes every time. So we're going to hop back into it. We're going to go into hearing from Sana, who's going to talk about intimacy, which is, I know, not necessarily a topic that you might consider for a summit like this, but intimacy in our relationships is really key with how we move forward and move into our lives and businesses. So Sana is an incredible friend and a spiritual mentor. She actually went viral in the New York Times and Good Morning America. Her and her husband decided to live in separate apartments in New York City, and really found that in that they strengthened their relationship. So talking about doing life differently, they've really become the leaders of this movement and inspiring people to challenge traditional normative ideas and create your true own love story. I'm so excited for you to hear from Sana and connect with her. She is remarkable. Ready for that? So we'll have a 30-second countdown, and then we'll see you right after that.
Welcome to Let's Get Intimate. I'm your keynote speaker today. My name is Sana, and I am a spiritual mentor and a feminine embodiment coach. I empower women to get a little deeper into your connection with your mind, your body, your soul, so that you can become a more full embodied version of who you authentically are. I am also the host of Thriving in Love podcast, the podcast that challenges the status quo so couples can thrive as their most authentic selves. I was the type of woman that was extremely ambitious, very go, go, go in my masculine energy until I hit my version of rock bottom. My husband and I were really struggling in our relationship, and I knew something needed to shift and change. That's what sparked my curiosity into my emotional baggage, my past, my trauma, my everything. When I opened up Pandora's box, I found not only all of the bad, but also all of the good, all of my ancestors' gifts and my intuitive abilities. And it really helped me awaken to my full power as a spiritual being, enjoying my human experience here on earth. So, not to get too boo boo on you guys today, I'm going to keep it very light and fresh. And this is a very beginner workshop, keynote, what have you, on how can we tap deeper with our connection with our bodies and our intuitive intelligence so that we can experience more intimacy and connection with others. This isn't just about romantic relationships. This has to do with your friendships. It has to do with your relationships with your family. It has to do with your relationships with the world around you. When it comes to Mother Earth, when it comes to your relationship with your clients, when it comes to your relationships with just others, right? So the reason I like to teach feminine energy in this way is because the feminine is a very relational energy. So even if you haven't experienced trauma with others, your body is going to be reactivated through the container of relationships because the feminine energy needs to have that mirror in order for her to have that guidance towards what to work on and what not to work on. For example, how you spend your time and energy is a direct reflection of how fulfilled your feminine energy is going to feel. So if you are exerting your time and your energy beyond your means, which means, being a people pleaser or pleasing others first or caring about others and sacrificing your wants and needs and desires. And this is so natural, especially if you're a mom or if you're an empath or if you're somebody who just wants to serve. It's very natural for you to be in this energy where you want to think about others before thinking about yourself. So the reason I really teach solitude and really teach coming back home to your emotions and your body and tapping into what your emotions are here to teach you without trying to intellectualize it, without trying to, just journal about it and get to the root. What happens there is it's still very surface level. And in order to connect with your own body and your own intuitive intelligence and your own spiritual gifts or, your intuitive abilities, it's important for you to bring that energy down and find where in your body do you feel the tightness and the sensation and start to move that energy. And this is why I call this workshop Let's Get Intimate, because it really is you building a beautiful, intimate relationship with your own body through following what your emotions are here to tell you and teach you. So, as a creative entrepreneur, it is so incredibly important for you to be relaxed, for you to feel safe in your own body so that you can activate your own connection to source consciousness, which again allows you to receive the creative inspiration and the downloads and the guidance from your own spirit team, from your own connection with source consciousness, from your own intuition. If you are somebody who likes to follow what other people are doing in order to get the results that they have, it's great, but just keep in mind that that is only going to get you so far. If you are somebody who is a born leader, a natural born leader, you're here and you know that you're here for a greater purpose, you're here for a greater impact, you're here to really be one of the leaders of this new paradigm shift that we're experiencing, it's imperative for you to learn how to tap into your own intuitive intelligence. So, how can we tap into this intuitive intelligence? So, the way that I like to teach this is using your relationships and your experiences to be a reflection of where you are and where you stand within your own self. So, for example, if you are somebody who is having the same fight over and over and over again with a friend or a partner, it is likely that that fight has a deeper connection to something that is ready to be healed from your past, whether it's a relationship dynamic with your mom or your dad or your upbringing or somebody in your past that you are still attached to. So I like to practice the law of detachment. And what that means is that we are consciously communicating with the people that we love after we have processed what we have going on in our subconscious programming. If you are somebody who likes to journal and likes to meditate and knows how to connect with your emotions on that deeper level, then that's an incredible place to start. And then after that, once you're done processing, what I like to teach people is how to have these conscious conversations with the people in our reality right here, right now, so that you can have those difficult conversations. You can tap into vulnerability. You can have that breakthrough so that you're not repeating the same fight over and over again. And this time you're coming into it with clarity because you realize that, oh, this is actually repeating itself because it's something that I need to heal and look at. And you do that through the journaling and understanding your connection to your own emotions and your past and processing that, holding space for your inner child and loving her through all of the pain that she experienced or felt in the past. And then creating a safe space for her to play. And this is where the dance and the movement comes in, the somatic practices that we do as women or, womb humans, whether you identify as women or not. And this allows you to move that energy that is stuck in your body and get it to reactivate and regenerate and reignite. And that's how you awaken your life force energy, which I call Shakti. It allows you to alchemize that pain into wisdom. And then you come out of it the other side with clarity, with confidence, with connection to the narratives that have been running your life, and you get to rewrite it. So now you get to go back to your journal and you get to write a new story. And you thank the past versions of you that tried their best and now you got it from here. So it's like a reparenting technique that I do with my clients. And then from that place, you have reached a new level of empowerment, right? So then now you get to go to your relationships and you get to say, hey, I'm finally understanding why we keep having the same fight over and over again. I have been blaming you for so long and I'm actually sorry. And this is where this is coming from. It would help me if you are more mindful of this because I would really appreciate that. But I also realize that it's my responsibility to process my emotions, and it is your responsibility to be mindful of them. And this is how you get to go to that next step with your friendships, with your relationships, with your clients, right? So we think that setting boundaries is something that the other person is responsible for. And then we say, oh, you didn't honor my boundaries, so I'm cutting you off. When in reality, it's actually setting a boundary and pulling your energy back so that you could do this processing work on your own. And if they try to violate that boundary, you simply say and reiterate and reinforce that boundary. And at the end of the day, we're not blaming others for violating our boundaries or for draining our energy or for taking away our time. What we are actually doing is being full sovereign beings, completely in charge of our own time and energy, and reinforcing those boundaries as needed. And this is really going to help you understand that it's not going to help you move forward in life if you are blaming others and playing victim, because as a creative entrepreneur, as a woman, as a sovereign being, you are responsible for your time and your energy so that you can unlock your creativity and connect with your higher self or source consciousness or the universe or whatever you want to call it, and do the work that you came here to do. Of course, there's a lot of toxic energies out there, and that's where the boundaries are important as well. And if they keep breaking and, trying to ignore your boundaries, then maybe it's time for a cord cutting or for having a official conversation and just cut yourself off from these people that are completely neglectful of your wants and needs and desires. At the bare minimum, your relationships should feel like a safe space for you to explore who you are and explore who you're becoming and give you space for your creativity and self expression. So, if you have a relationship that doesn't allow you to feel like you're safe to question how things have been and reevaluate things and give you time and space to figure things out, then I would really start having real discussions on these relationship dynamics. But at the end of the day, if we are cutting people off before we do the processing and analyzing the triggers and understanding where our triggers are coming from and taking full accountability and responsibility for our emotions thoroughly from the initial point of trigger of anger, rage, shame, guilt, fear, and creating a safe space and a sacred practice to truly explore and examine these emotions thoroughly with our inner child, with our inner teen, with our past versions of ourselves, and understand it all from a detached perspective of what is this here to teach me and what can I learn from this experience, then you're going to stay stuck in that repeated cycle of, calling in the same kind of friendships or the same kind of relationships and the same kind of people, places, and things because you're not willing to do the work of accountability and responsibility and processing. So again, this is very beginner of how the feminine can do the inner work so that she's not repeating the same cycles in her romantic or platonic relationships. And this is also going to really, really help you with becoming a better healer for others or a better entrepreneur or a better, friend yourself, because the more you understand your own self and all the things that have been neglected within your own self for so long, and have more grace and compassion for yourself, the easier it becomes to hold space for others. Isn't that why we're here? To have, beautiful relationships with ourselves and have beautiful relationships with others. This processing requires us to have safety within, right? So if you are somebody who doesn't feel safe to feel your feelings and you like to intellectualize them and you don't want to tap into your body, then that's the first place I would start. But if you're comfortable with, maybe you do yoga, maybe you do journaling, maybe you do dance, maybe whatever modality you have to do your somatic practices, maybe this is the next step of how to fully process your feelings. So first is the journaling and understanding. The next is the physical movement so that we can rev up that energy and alchemize it into wisdom. And then it's time to integrate that wisdom and embody it so that we can take it back out into the world as new and empowered versions of us. And again, once you continue this practice over and over again, you really do just relax as a human because now you don't try to build up walls around you so that you're never triggered. Now you actually start getting excited when you are triggered because you know that once you go through this process, you're only going to come out of it stronger, better, wiser, and just more empowered than ever before. So, in my definition of a relaxed woman, I have these 7 things that a relaxed woman does. So, if you identify as a relaxed woman, this should sound like a full body yes. And if not, then maybe that's an invitation to explore how you can tap deeper into your feminine energy. So, a relaxed woman asks for help. She isn't afraid of putting down the armor and allowing others to help her. She doesn't act like a lone wolf in this world. She speaks her truth with grace. She isn't afraid of saying what's on her mind or on her heart with grace. So, again, that grace comes from processing and understanding and having that empowered vision of what you want to say. You speak your truth with grace. You say what you need to say and you don't attach to an outcome and you don't try to control and manipulate other people's emotions. She has compassion for difference of opinion. A relaxed woman understands that not everybody is going to understand her, not everybody is going to be her cup of tea, and not everybody is here to be in alignment with her because she understands that we're all on our own unique paths, on our own unique journeys, and some people are just going to think differently than you. She isn't rigid in her point of view. So a relaxed woman knows that her point of view can ebb and flow because she is devoted to ever growing and changing and evolving. And she doesn't attach to past versions of herself. She is soft and supple and allows herself to shift and grow and evolve as she does. She's collaborative. Again, that lone wolf energy is very masculine heavy and a feminine energy. She understands that other people are not competition, and instead we are better together. We get to rise higher once we're all become more collaborative. She doesn't aim for perfectionism. This was such a big one for me because I wanted everything to be exactly the way I wanted it to be. And if it wasn't good enough, I wasn't going to put it out in the world. That's not authenticity. True authenticity, true self expression is understanding that there is no such thing as perfectionism. Because if we try to be perfect, we're trying to be these models of non relatable people. And if you want to be a creative entrepreneur, if you want to be a healer, you want to have an audience, you want to create an impact, your relatability, your humanity, your messiness is the most powerful thing at your disposal. And then lastly, she trusts herself. She trusts her guidance system. She trusts her intuitive intelligence. She trusts her emotions to guide her through to finding more clarity and confidence, and connects deeply with her intuitive intelligence so that she can be a better role model for others and serve as this beacon of hope and light that she came here to be. So I really hope this was helpful. And if you want to learn more on how to tap deeper into your feminine and become a relaxed woman, check out my podcast or feel free to book a chemistry call with me. I do have some freebies available as well. I hope that you guys can find some valuable insights over there. So if you're ready to unlock a commanding presence, have conscious conversations, and unlock your loving and authentic power, I really hope you will check out the freebies that I have for you. And I hope you're not afraid of going deeper into your emotions and creating more space so that you can expand your capacity for holding even more magic and power and becoming magnetic, a magnetic force that attracts soul clients, romantic, soulful relationships, incredibly powerful friendships, and just feel really good and empowered in your own body. So thank you, Allie, and to everybody else for tuning in, and I will see you guys.
Wow, wow. What a day we've had today. I am still like absolutely floored by the amount of information that has come up and shared with you today. It is just as magical for me as it's been for you. And I really hope that you've been able to dive in and take all of this to heart. And I want to remind you, if you missed any part of this today, if you're just joining us now, I totally understand. Want to make sure that you get our VIP option. So $29, it's never going to be cheaper than that. So if you're worried about that, we'll have this for sale later for those who have not attended live, but it will be at a much higher price point. So I want to make sure, one, just sitting here and all the incredible value. I mean, the women who were here poured their hearts into this experience. And I'm so, so thrilled to be able to share that with you. I'm grateful for each and every one of the speakers that was here today. I'm grateful for you for being here and reminding yourself that it is a good thing to live a different life. It is a good thing to realize that you haven't fit in circles that you have tried to make yourself mold and fit into before. This is not only is it a skill, it's a talent, it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to recognize that where you're at is not where you want to be. This is not something to beat ourselves up about or to disconnect ourselves entirely from, but to remember that we are constantly evolving and growing. And we should be. It's the best thing that we can do for the growth of our lives, for the growth of our business, to live a life that is truly aligned with the way that we want to live. This is what Uncovering Her is about, diving deeper. We were able to get intimate with Sana. What an incredible discussion. Learn more about authenticity and presenting ourselves in an authentic figure with Stetson. We were also able to learn about having more fun in our day today with Rach Green and really implementing those really great tools and practical tips that she gave us to make things more fun. She's in the background waving and getting excited. with Laura getting our movement breaks. That was incredible. She'll be back tomorrow to share with that. Our Q&A, incomparable. What can you say about that? The knowledge, the gems that were dropped were absolutely amazing from each of our speakers. And in your recap email today, you'll have links to connect with every single one of them. And please do. These are women that you want in your corner, in your circle. I'm so grateful that they're in mine. Also being able to chat with each other and talk about what our favorite forms of self-care were and what our favorite, what our dream businesses are. And a lot of you said that you were living your dream business. And I'm just so grateful to hear that. And I hope and I know that this experience will help grow that and get even more depth there. Really great practical tips with rewiring your brain for success with Holly, being able to realize that it's not this complex system that we have to deeply go into and do these complex things, but actually it's really simple to be able to retrain your brain that way. Financial self-care with Lindsay, our second chat of the day, remembering that actually finances and looking at your finances, not ostriching, former ostrich here, is the way to growth. It is the way to feel better about our finances and become financially confident. There'll be another chat on finances tomorrow. And then, of course, our starter, Miss Jennifer, with messy action, reminding ourselves that fail fast, fail often, because that is where the good stuff is. So, wow. How are we going to do this again tomorrow? There's so much more to share with you. I'm so grateful for your time and energy and for being here, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay as a VIP. Wow. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you'd like to send our way, please go ahead and respond to any of the emails that you were given. You'll get an update on our schedule tomorrow and those speakers, but mostly just from the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful. This space is for you. I created it for you. These women are here for you. And I am so grateful that you're all in here. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to get your ticket for the live event in October. You do not want to miss this. It is going to be, if you thought this was good, just imagine 10 times, 100 times that. It's going to be wildly connected and wonderful. And I'm so excited to see you there. Grab your ticket. Again, any questions, anything that you have for us, please go ahead and respond to those emails. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow morning. Good night, everybody.